I must admit that I've been starting to rely too much on my luck, and I don't like it. But what's done is done. Good. Now get up and try to look presentable, Jay. Big things are on the horizon. Big things.
Alright, I want to thank you both for coming on such short notice. I know that conducting a presentation at 1 a.m. isn't the optimal time to do this, but I can't prolong this matter any longer.
It's fine, boss. Sleep is for the weak. Yeah, you might think that, but some of us were actually trying to sleep before you shocked us awake. So can you at least tell us why we're doing this?
Well, look, I know neither of you are going to want to hear this, but the plan's changed.
What? Boss, we've spent the last 3 months planning every single little detail, every single contingency, anything that could possibly get in our way, and countered everything. We can't just change the plan now when we've come so close.
I understand your concerns, Jay, but hear me out. I found something that may perhaps accelerate the plan, and we won't have to go through everything that we were so painstakingly working towards.
What could possibly accelerate the plan at such a fast pace that we avoid everything we've been working towards? Yeah, I gotta agree with her on this one. What have you been up to? And how come you haven't told us yet?
As you both know, I created you two to help me take down Foxy and get my revenge. And that was through the usage of a very interesting device that Mario provided me with. Although, I had to make sure I could study it and properly understand its functionality before I used it on you two. And through my research, I discovered that it shares a very similar energy source to something else I've been enamored with for quite a long time. The fossils. You remember how I briefed you all on the fossils a long time ago?
The 10 mystic stones that crashed into the earth and created life as we know it. What about them, boss?
As it turns out, that device that Mario gave me was in fact being powered by one of them. And so, through my research, I managed to discover that the original source was in fact what was powering Arcturus' ship. That is what gave it those incredible abilities it had that I observed during its final hours. And since the initial destruction of Blacktail Mountain, I've been scouring the remnants, looking for anything I possibly can to salvage. Unfortunately, everything was either lost in the rubble or is now covered in foliage after the long amount of time it's been. Even through just 5 months, nature has really taken its toll. As I was searching, I've been noticing something very interesting that's been popping up around areas surrounding Red Fox City and Blacktail Mountain. They appear to be mysterious reality discrepancies. I'm not entirely sure what they are or how they got there in the first place, but it seems they were not there until Blacktail Mountain was destroyed. I'm still trying to figure out how they got there, but these discrepancies appear to be invisible doorways into another space outside our own. And so, while you two have been busy training, I have been busy studying this mysterious place I discovered.
Places? Boss, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense.
That's what I thought too, until I found out what those reality discrepancies were about. There are currently 5 documented dimensions that make up the reality we know. The 3rd dimension is the one we currently inhabit, the one with the restrictions that we've been forced to endure in our mortal lives. The 4th dimension is what is known as the dreaming world. I think we all know that well by now. The 5th, 2nd, and 1st dimensions have currently been undocumented in our current history. The 5th dimension is supposedly some kind of... how do I put this? Well, it's most commonly referred to as the place of paradise. Over and over again, I've seen phrases repeated about it in mythology that say, "Thank me, dear, for paradise." It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure where I could have heard it before. However, the second and first dimensions that I also managed to research don't seem to match what I found here through these discrepancies either. These seem to lead to some kind of place that's outside space and time. Clocks don't work in there, and compasses don't either. It seems that what I've stumbled across is some kind of subspace within our own reality. Upon entering one of these discrepancies, I found myself in a vast, empty space. Gigantic, dark, empty halls. I spent a few hours looking around in there until I realized that I was starting to exhibit signs of paranoia, which is something I haven't ever had in a long time, not even when the going got tough for me. So, since then, I've dispatched several probes into that place. I've placed them around anywhere I can find, to be honest. The problem is, this space appears to be constantly shifting around itself, building more and more of it as the days go by. What we're dealing with here appears to be some kind of middle reality that is building infinite rooms inside of itself. The probes have currently documented about, well, 70,000 pictures of what's already been there, and they can't move from their designated spots. A few days ago, something strange started happening. I didn't want to disclose this to either of you because, well, I knew that Jay, if you found out that I was working on something outside of our plan, then you would most likely get upset with me.
Boss, I wouldn't get upset with you. It's just that we've been working so hard to get our revenge, and you're distracting yourself by looking at some alternate dimension?
This is no mere alternate dimension, Jay. What we're dealing with appears to be some sort of ethereal mind reconstructing forgotten places within itself. I've taken to calling this place the Backrooms, due to the fact that it's entirely empty and unpopulated, reminding me of some other places I visited in my time. Anyways, back to what I found out. A few days ago, I managed to notice very, very eerie similarities between the Backrooms and many places in a town located in British Columbia known as Wells. Take a look. The slides that you see are pictures the probes have taken from inside the Backrooms, and the slide coming afterwards is the area the Backrooms are directly tied to. It seems that whatever is constructing the Backrooms is most likely recreating places from Wells, and most likely another place called Barkerville. It's located very close. I'm not entirely sure why the Backrooms are reconstructing these places in particular, but what I do know is that they seem to do it infinitely. When I first dispatched the probes and got them to do a radius scan of the entire Backrooms, they extended to over 6 million square miles. I did a recheck last night, and since then, the Backrooms have expanded to be about 888 million square miles. Interesting thing is, no matter how far it goes, it seems that all these discrepancies that I've labeled as doorways are still in their same spots. They don't seem to spread across the valley. They still stay in the same spots they were located, especially around Blacktail Mountain. You can be walking through the forest, and the next thing you know, you fall through the ground and land in the Backrooms. If you're lucky enough to enter through a wall, or perhaps a ceiling, which becomes the floor, you can find your way back through. Unfortunately, it seems most of these instances are located in the ground, meaning you'll fall in through the ceiling and can't get back out. And so, through my studies, I found that these Backrooms are seemingly endless and keep going. They keep constructing new areas every single day. I've become a little obsessed with them, so to speak, because of how they tie into my past with Wells. But that's why I've called you two here tonight. I know that we were scheduled to do some recon tomorrow to spy on Foxy and his friends as they're preparing for something, whatever it is. but that mission has been canceled. The plan has been changed, and I have a new mission for both of you. Well, it's more of an assignment, if I'm being completely honest.
And what would that happen to be? Because I get the feeling
that I want you two to go in there. That's correct. My assignment for you two is to go into the Backrooms and document anything you can find. Bring back anything that seems out of place. Unknown artifacts, objects, anything really. I'm not entirely convinced this place could be completely infinite, and so that's why I want you two to take all the time you can to explore the Backrooms with a camera I've equipped. I've got all the supplies in a backpack just in your rooms. So, here's what you two will do. V, you'll be in possession of the camera, and Jay will lead you. I've located a doorway only 18 clicks northwest of here, close to Blacktail Mountain, but not in direct proximity to the sinkhole where it once was. I want you two to go into the Backrooms, take a look around, and document anything you can find. Keep the camera on at all times, and once it runs out of battery, come back to me. Understand?
Fine, boss. If you think this is gonna help us, I guess we'll do it, but how is this going to help us?
If the Backrooms have some kind of limitless energy that can recreate anything it sees, I could potentially use that energy to recreate some old ideas of mine I had to destroy Foxy with. Perhaps I could even create an entire army of drones, or something even more powerful. I'm not entirely sure what either of you will find down there, but I want you to do anything you can to find what is making these Backrooms and how we can harness it. Got it?
Sure thing, boss. We got it covered, right? Sure, I guess. When are we heading out?
Tomorrow night. I'll brief you two a bit more on the Backrooms before you head in. I will stay here and monitor your progression. Thankfully, even through a second reality, I can still track you both. If either of you get lost, I'll be able to come in there and find you. But considering that these Backrooms seem to endlessly connect to one another, much like an intersecting labyrinth, I don't think you'll be able to get lost too easily. Just remember to make sure you remember where you entered. Once the camera runs out of battery, come back immediately. That's an order. Now, you two can head back to sleep. I will be going to bed as well. I'll see you all soon. Alright?
Sure. You got it.
Good. Good night.
Jay, are we really sure about doing this for Douglas? I mean, I know this is the whole reason he created us and everything, but doesn't this seem kind of dangerous to you going into some unknown reality? Look, if Douglas wants us to do it, we do it. Got it, V? I know. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. Don't you think he would have, I don't know, tried to see if there was anything in there before sending us? Listen, we're expendable for a reason. We do what Douglas wants because he needs us. Got it? Well, you're the expendable one at least. I'm the second in command. You know how it goes. Yeah, I know. You remind me every day. You know, sometimes I really wish you weren't immune to my deadly tail. And sometimes I wish Douglas hadn't even created you. So, I guess we're both disappointed then. Now, we're going back to sleep. We're getting ready. We're going in there tomorrow. Fine. But if there's something in there and it eats you, I'll be so glad I'll get it on the camera. Oh yeah? Well, if something eats you, I'll get it on the camera. How's that sound?